Hey guys, we're back for part 2 of the flap install on the ASH26, where we left off and ran out of memory. Basically, we had just got done with this cut, and it's still pretty rough right now, but that's fine. And that's kind of convenient. We've got that pocket there that's open, but not 100% sure if I'm going to use that for the servo or not yet. That being understood, I just wanted to point out that there's no material here and there's no material here. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe that's to get in there and be able to locate some of this other stuff. I'm not sure why they did that. But anyway, so now that we've got this cut, the next step is to probably get that smoothed down some. So we'll just start with a regular sanding block. We'll see if that's effective. If it's not, we'll move on to something a little more aggressive. This is pretty thin wood, so it doesn't take much to take the material down, which is what I suspected would be true. So I'm not going to be surprised if I make it through this finish some, but like I said, we can always recover it if we have to. I'd far prefer not do that. Kind of like a high spot there. It's weird. See, it's fuzzed it up. That's weird. Okay, so now we have a little bit better closure back to square, but obviously we're not going to be going just back to square. We'll be going well beyond it, so we're going to have to get quite a bit more off of there. So this is kind of one of those times when you're thinking to yourself, what the heck did I do? But at the same time, I just know the way I am, and I know I was eventually going to want to do this. So I don't really have any major reservations yet. Except for, it sure would have been nice to just cut the top and just have the thing articulate down. But then how do you make it clean on the top? I don't know. So at this point, I think we probably still made the right call. Okay, so now, if I were to come through and slice this at an angle, you know, like a fairly steep angle, let's demonstrate. Actually, I want to use scissors. It would be easier to control that angle. So suppose we're going to cut this angle here. We would need to cut a fairly steep angle, which is going to remove a lot of material, okay? So once we've removed that material, then you won't just come back flush, you'll come back and then you'll be able to go beyond it, okay? I mean, in a perfect world, that's the way that would work. I'm not suggesting that's exactly the way this is going to work, but that would sure be nice if that's the way it worked. Because you saw how hard it was to cut through just the ribs. So the other thing is then, how do I translate that to a straight, clean cut? And that is a question of the hour. Obviously I don't need that on there anymore. The other thing is I could cut just the material out here and just collapse it down on itself, which would allow for a lot less removal of material and more maintenance of strength. So that's what I want to try first. So I'm going to cut right here at the hinge point. Just going to cut at an angle here. And I'm going to stop just shy of here where these two pieces are joined. Okay. So I'm actually just going to split those from one another. Okay. Remember, this is like a 3-cut old knife. Okay. Really nice and sturdy. Nice and sharp, I mean. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut down to the inside of this or not. Just trying to be really careful here because it's easy to get away from yourself. And once you break free, then it's really hard to stop your inertia with a knife like this. Okay, I think what I might do is just grab a pair of pliers like this so I can try to knock that chunk out. Like that. One more chunk. It's okay that that piece lifted, that's not going to hurt us. Okay, so now I want to take and try to clean off this material completely. But I want to maintain that one piece on the top there. Remember that plywood that's weak right now, or whatever it is I'm cutting right this second, that stuff is going to get strengthened when it glues and bonds back together with this portion here, which is going to be cut and then broken down, hypothetically. Ooh, there we go. Let me just make a pile of this extra wood crap, because I may need to use that wood again. Cool. Okay, so now we just need to knock each of these ribs out, which might actually be pretty easy. Not 100% sure, but I'm going to try it and we'll see. I'm just grabbing and twisting because then it has nowhere to go but out. Okay? Just grabbing and twisting. Only twisting. I'm not pulling, I'm just twisting. Once it's broke free, then I pull. These things are coming out phenomenal. Just like that. Hold on. Now I dropped that little piece, but I don't want to lose any. I don't think I'm going to need them, but if I do, I'll want to kind of mimic the setup that's already there. And this is probably some extra special Chinese balsa wood. That's supposed to be a hilarious joke, folks. Okay, so this here, that's doubled up there. And it looks like I didn't go quite deep enough here. The tip of these might be a little bit too... No, it's actually pretty fine. Maybe I'm just not getting in there. Because I can envision... Yeah, I just wasn't going in far enough. That's what she said. Yes. Okay, so now on the end here. Okay, so let's just see. Obviously, we still can't do what I want to do, which is to fold it all the way down, we're going to have to take out this material here. And the easiest way to do that is probably going to be to take and cut it on this end. But it's going to be hard to see what we're cutting, so I'm going to cut from this side. Try to get this one block out first. So we only have to go through one block. What's so strange about this project is it's actually, I mean, thus far it's been a pretty easy project, with the exception of the electronics. That's usually kind of a role reversal. Usually the electronics are super easy on this, or fairly simple. Okay, try number 2. Ooh, that worked way better. Nice clean cut. Okay. Kind of hard to tell how deep the cut is yet. Oh, son of a gun. What did I hit? Oh, luckily it was a foam plane. Okay. It's got those 2 pieces out. So now, hypothetically, if we were to take and try to collapse this, it would probably collapse, okay? Because there's nothing to support it, or a very limited amount of material in there. But it's amazing how much material will support something when you don't want it to. Which is always opposite the other way around. Okay, so I'm just looking in the seam. I'm going to take this sanding tool and just come in here. Try to clean it up just a little bit while we can, easily. That's pretty nice, actually. Trying to get that debris out. Okay, so there's just a little bit more buildup right in this spot, which I think I can try to get from out here. Okay, great. I'm going to actually pull this servo. Try to get that down out of the way a little bit so we don't rub it. Okay. Alright, so now there's no structure in there. So my options are pretty clear here. I can either break sorry guys, I tried to get paused before I coughed there. I can either break it on the inside, fold it inside out, and then cut the seam and then fold it back shut. But I don't know if that's going to allow it to close or not. I may need to take a little bit more of this material on the control surface side out before it's allowed to move freely the way I'd like it to. I think at some point I'm going to just have to move it, but trying to make sure I don't shoot myself in the foot, because it's a lot more work to have to go back through. Plus I have to try to duplicate whatever I do here on the other side too. That's the challenge. It's going to be really challenging. Okay, so just in studying this a little bit closer, makes me wonder if I should just try to take and remove some of that material from both sides just a little bit more. Especially in this middle section. See, we're still getting nice and flush now, and easily doing that, but we're certainly not going beyond it. So now I'm just bending it, or trying to bend it, to see if the thing will just bend. But see, even with that thing bent, I don't think I have enough closure yet. I certainly don't have enough for flaps. So I think I'm going to have to bring it back the other way. And so I may need to score it, or if I can try to fold it, I'm just afraid if I fold it, I'm not going to be able to get a clean fold. It's going to break in like 4 different places. Okay, so how can I do that? And the idea is, I could also just cut that whole chunk off altogether. But then how do I make it pretty again? Oops, that's what I was afraid of, guys. See how it broke at that weird angle? That's exactly what I was afraid of. Because I said there's no way the grain's perfect. Well, in that case, it's probably fine to just take and run the knife along this area here, and that should weaken the structure in that spot so that I can double it back upon itself. I hope. So once we've done that, I'm going to try folding down again. Nothing. Now I'm going to go to this side. And it's breaking just wherever it feels like, which doesn't really surprise me that much. And I haven't really lost that much. It'd be nice if it would have broke the other way, but I think that we all kind of knew that was a pipe dream for it to break that clean. This is wood after all, it's not like magical. Okay, so now I could actually glue that seam back together if I wanted to try to do that. But at this point there's all this glue and extra material that will ultimately have to come out at some point. So now I can just run this knife along here, removing this material. Really easy now. Okay. So now that I have that cut, now I just got to go through and remove the debris from the cut. It seems like I got kind of deep on some of that, but every time I look at the other side, it's not cut through. Okay, so I'll just take this sander, just try to use that to knock out some of that debris that's already been cut. That piece, I was going to say there's a piece in there that won't come out. There it is. Okay, so 2 cuts. Alright, I'm gonna vacuum. Okay. So now that we got that cleaned up, we have to do our relief cut. It's gonna be much harder than it seems to do, because all that glue that the Chinese company used, it's very strong, which is good for other reasons, like the plane not falling out of the sky. I hate to even do it right now, but I have to CA that thing back together until such a time as we know that we're gonna cut it off. I'd rather have it held back together now in case we do end up keeping it in that position. I'm gonna go through the couple seconds of effort now. Just kind of pushing that into the joint a little bit. Okay, nothing special. A little bit of kicker and only sparingly applied to try to keep it out of the backing on that monocoat. Doesn't lose its stickiness. Okay, now there's another big crack right here. Okay, so I can do that too while I'm at it. Okay, so we'll just get that stuff squished together. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to kind of be one contiguous piece. A little bit of kicker on that little area. Let's put this stuff away. Okay, so now that we got that all taken care of for now, and just sand over it a little bit, smooth off any of that CA. Probably a little bit hard to see all the little steps, like what they're going to do on this. You can see it's going to allow that to squish down tight, hypothetically. Ooh, I don't want you to break now. necessarily. You might need to come off later, but not right now. So I got to reattach that thing. We'll just do it the same way. Just a little bit of CA, nothing special. And we may be reattaching this in 10 minutes, or re-separating it in 10 minutes, but that's fine too. I just don't know for sure, and I'd rather not risk it. Want it there and having it ripped off and gone. I put kicker on this, and I'll just wipe that area. Okay, so that's good for now. Okay, so we got this here now. So now that this is reattached, whoops, forgot some. Now that this is reattached, I need to try to take a little bit off, and I don't think it's gonna come off real great with the knife right now. So we'll just try it with a sanding block. The reason I don't think it'll come off great is because we just glued it, for one thing, and for two, it's just kind of an awkward angle. So I'll just do it this way. That might help a little bit. Okay. So now, let's see if we can collapse that down. It collapses down a lot better now, so it kind of mimics the look of the aileron a little bit, but I think we just need to thin up the inside a little bit as well. Okay, so as you can see, we're getting close to where we're going to have a little bit of clearance there, which is kind of cool. But like right now, we don't have any clearance, no more than what we started with. I'm beginning to think I'm probably just going to have to remove that material altogether, or glue it back down right now and then trim it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Just go ahead and get it over with and just glue it down right there, and then I can start shaping it. Tough call, guys. Let's try to salvage what we can. So now at this point, we're going to taper the other side. This side. No. This is a pretty scary maneuver right here, I'll tell you guys. Jeez, that's a lot of pieces. But that's what we needed to have happen. Ow. Didn't cut me. Pretty lucky. Whoops. I want that piece gone. It's got too much glue on it. Okay. Now we've got this ready to close back down. Make it like that. Okay. We'll see if we can get a tight enough joint now. My guess is it's not going to be tight enough. My guess appears to be right. Well, guys, that's probably going to conclude part 2 here, I'm guessing, of the flaps install on the ASH26. So come back for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe.